Hello, I'm Dr. Sunny Fridge. Welcome to another edition of Rise and Shine with Dr. Sunny. Season 2 is dedicated to helping you unleash your inner speaking superpowers. Each week, you get tips, tools, and techniques to help you become a better communicator. I believe everyone has a purpose and the potential to live their best life. On this edition of Rise and Shine, my guest will share how you can unleash your sway factor. If you're watching on YouTube or Facebook, share in the comments below where you're watching from. And if you're listening by podcast, please subscribe so you never miss a show. Do you know how to answer the question, what do you do, in an engaging and memorable way? Are you interested in elevating your visibility? Would you like to position yourself as a subject matter expert at work in your industry? If you answered yes to any of these questions, this show's for you. My guest hails from the Windy City. Sima Dahl is a speaker, trainer, and ever a hopeful Chicago Bears fan. She has traveled the globe teaching professionals just like you to stand out, stay relevant, and generate demand for what they do. It is what she calls your sway factor. Welcome, Sima.
Good morning, Dr. Sunny. I'm so honored to be here.
And it is a pleasure to have you. So you are the CEO of the Sway Factory. Tell us more about what you do.
Right, because we know titles mean nothing. I'm the CEO of a company of one full-time employee, so let's just keep that in perspective. The Sway Factory is my umbrella organization under which I deliver keynote speaking, corporate training, a little bit of coaching, and a lot of consulting with organizations who want to drive sales, generate more referrals, attract top talent, and retain that talent by understanding the power of personal brands.
Who are some of your clients?
I work with clients of all sizes. I've got small privately held organizations right here in my backyard in Chicago to large global enterprises such as United Airlines, Orbitz, Walgreens, CDW. I also do a lot of work with associations. Associations have a couple challenges. They want to provide meaningful education at their conferences and trade shows, but they also need to recruit that next level member, the emerging leader, and they need to retain them. So it's all in the value they provide their constituents. So I love that part about my job perhaps the most. I work with all different people from all different walks of life.
What is the sway factor? And how did you come up with that name? It's so cool.
Well, thank you. The sway factor is perhaps not the best name because I need to explain it. And as a former corporate marketer, I understand that it's not as intuitive as perhaps a professional marketer should have chosen a phrase. That being said, I think it's perfect in that it really describes that it factor, the X factor, the degree to which someone behaves in a way that generates opportunity, opens doors, keeps you top of mind. Not sway as in, forcefully change your opinion, but a gentle sway of here's who I am, here's how I move the needle, what I can do for you and for your stakeholders. And when we behave in that way through simple leadership skills that just simply aren't taught in school, we find that our career is on the fast track. We meet our needs faster. We get access to the right people more quickly. And it's that magic pixie dust that when practiced over time really has you in a position of getting more from your career, more from your profession, more sales, more business leads than somebody who doesn't.
So how do you create or build a sway factor? Help us out.
All right, well, the first step is to determine how you want to be known, because it's your story to tell and your story to write, and it's your story to reinforce. So the first rule of branding is determine how you want to be known, and then practice consistent messaging across all touch points. So that can be from the very way you answer the question, what do you do? It's not my job title, right? To how you show up in meetings, raise your hand to volunteer, how you have the cojones to lean in to a difficult conversation, speak up, ask a question, contribute your ideas, to how you show up online and how you use content to stay top of mind. So I've determined a set of behaviors that even just one or two can make a difference. But when practiced in summation, you really do stand out from your peers, from the pack of competitors, and you get the right of first refusal.
Awesome. And now I've heard you say that we're in the age of networking, and those are some of the benefits when you have a sway factor. So I know when you go to your website, you have a sway factor quiz. Do you mind sharing one or two questions that we need to answer to figure out whether we need to build or just build upon our sway factor?
Right, the age of referral. I cut my teeth as an award-winning marketer in the information age. I was there at the at the table when the internet was born. For your younger listeners, I'm older than Google, okay? So it used to be that you could go online and find anything. Your older viewers will remember the dancing baby and some of those weird early internet memes. And we thought it was fascinating, and we moved away from that old school sort of Rotary Club, meet with the people in your neighborhood, shake their hands, let them get to know you.
Mhm.
So we've come full circle. I think now the information age is like drinking from the fire hose. And if you're looking for somebody for your business or to help you with any kind of service or to talk to for their expertise, we don't go to the Googles. If you type leadership speaker or keynote speaker, you get a billion responses in milliseconds. So we tend to, I believe, better leverage our network today than ever before. That question, hey, Dr. Sunny, who do you know who, dot, 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 right? Who do you know who can help me with, would be good at, might talk to me for a minute about? And that happens inside the organization and beyond. So the quiz is really designed to help you get present to how well are you reinforcing your dot, 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 the ellipsis that defines your personal brand. So how often do you have networking conversations within your own enterprise or your community or in your industry? And it's classic. I don't have time. It's not about having it, it's about making it. So, depending on where we are in life, I always tell my coaching clients life happens. You might be caring for an elderly parent, starting your family, perhaps a spouse is losing their job. And you can expand your behaviors, and you can pull it back when you don't have time, but you can never quit.
Right. I love that. Failure is an option, but quitting is not. And
Absolutely. I love that.
yes, thank you. And along those lines, you say that we should all be the chief marketing officer of our careers. And you just talked a little bit about why we should be doing it, because obviously, if we go out there and we tell people who we are, but they're not so clear on it, they can't help us, correct?
Yeah, it's fascinating. So a large enterprise, somebody in talent development will call me and say, "We're having a turnover problem. We're having a churn problem." And it's not because we don't have a good culture or benefits or all the things people seek in a job. It's because our high potential leaders don't know how to market themselves.
Mm.
They get frustrated that they're not moving forward faster, but they're not doing anything about it either. So then they leave. So teaching people to market themselves even after you land the job is critical to how quickly you move forward. How I call them the bluebirds, being top of mind for those left field opportunities that you may not even be aware of. And the phone rings. We have an opportunity. We'd like you to step up, lead for the task force or whatever it is. And that doesn't happen when you keep your head down and you play small. And it's just fascinating because people think all those behaviors are to get the job, and then they stop. And salespeople, they it's not that they're age or they're male or they're female or none of that. They're technology adverse. They just don't think to use social platforms to tell their entire network, not just their buyers. This is really a difference maker for people. If you understand in the age of referral, everybody knows somebody who needs what you do, if not today, then tomorrow, or the year later, or the next year. So your entire network needs to understand in layman's terms what a lead looks like for you. And I tell the story about starting my business 12 years ago, and the bluebird, the phone call happened, and somebody said, "We'd like you to do this kind of work." And I was brand new and I barely knew how to write the proposal,
Uh-huh.
but I won the business. It was a referral from a man I went to high school with 100 years prior, who I hadn't seen since, who comes to know me from how I show up online. So it really is important.
That is awesome. And that's a great tip for us. And give us an action step or two for the aspiring entrepreneurs, the rising leaders, or anyone with a brand, how they can take their sway factor or get it going.
Okay, raise your sway factor. Here's two tips. The first tip is rethink the way you answer the question, who are you? What do you do? So imagine you're at that Chamber of Commerce meeting or the new hire orientation. I mean, can you imagine if I said, my name is Sima Dahl and I'm the CEO and founder of Sway Factory Inc. You don't even know where my first name started and my last name ended, right? So start with your first name. My name is Sima. Let that hang there, because really that's what they need to remember first and foremost, not the rest of it. And then how you help people. Try to be interesting and intriguing. I help people create demand for who they are and what they do. And inevitably, the next sentence is, tell me more. So really rethink your standard elevator pitch. I call it your airplane pitch, because we really don't talk to strangers in elevators much anymore, right? But really rethink how you introduce yourself. We really can't process your whole paragraph. The human brain can't process that fast. So give me a nugget to chew on, to hang my hat on, and then let me get to know you. Now we do the same thing online. So tip number 2 is to look at your digital footprint. Start with LinkedIn and ask yourself, does this sell me? Does it tell the perfect stranger who I am and what I do, and that I'm good at it and I'm passionate about it? Is it written in the first person with joy? Because if you don't love being you and doing what you do, the odds are that I'm going to love working with you are pretty darn low. And as human beings, we sense that, we judge that without really knowing. And we're more attracted to the person who just can't wait to share with you their gifts and their expertise.
Excellent, excellent tips. I also know that you say that your character, your competence, and charisma determine your sway factor. What do you mean by that?
Well, I think a lot of times when we find ourselves in what we perceive to be a formal setting, be that in a meeting or online in a formal platform like LinkedIn, we get really buttoned up. We start using the name our mother gave us instead of the name we generally go by, and we become slightly subdued. And so your character and your charisma, who you are, you honor your word, You are pleasant to work with. You're giving, you're generous, you're passionate, you're talented, you're striving to make a difference. That needs to come through along with what you're good at. You can have all the degrees and all the education, but if I don't get a sense that people enjoy working with you and you move the needle, you're leaving me wanting more.
Wonderful. Now you have 5 days of tips that people can sign up for to build or increase their sway factor. How can they contact you?
That's right. Just head over to simadahl.com and you will be presented with an option to sign up for those 5 tips. It's just 5 short emails, 5 days in a row to put you into action. Thinking technically is an action verb. We're doing something, but I'd rather see you taking demonstrable action, putting pen to paper, fingertips to the keyboard, and making real change in the way you shine a light on all you can do to, as we say, a rising tide lifts all the boats. So I think when you let others in on your best kept secrets, what you can do, then you achieve your highest level and all the people around you are affected likewise. It's really how I see how we can be our best citizens in the world.
I love it. So now, Sima, you are a certified speaker, an accredited speaker. I saw you get your accreditation at this past year's Toastmasters convention. Now, I understand this weekend you are at the National Speakers Association. I'm not a member of that organization, but tell us about that organization, what it does for a person like you.
Well, I actually joined the National Speakers Association before I got involved with Toastmasters. And I do have this certified speaking professional designation, which is earned by fewer than 12% of known speakers worldwide. In fact, a humble brag, no, an overt brag, I'm one of only 3 women in the world to have both the CSP and the accredited speaker from Toastmasters. I'm clearly a badge chaser, but the national.
Congratulations, high five.
Thank you. I'm gonna have to update that statistic every time a new woman achieves the same. But right now the number's 3. I can remember it. But the National Speakers Association is primarily for people who make their living as a professional a speaker, a keynoter, a trainer. And I encourage people interested in the art of speaking, both the platform skills and the business skills, to attend some meetings if there's a chapter nearby and check us out. I, I'm I'm this way with all organizations. Don't join an organization until A, you know it's your people, and B, you're ready to raise your hand and get involved. So I joined the NSA and ultimately served 2 years on the board and continue to mentor and welcome new members. You know, Toastmasters, I founded my club. I served in leadership roles for 5 years. It's in the giving and the doing and the elbow rubbing that associations really have the greatest impact on you. So National Speakers Association, we have award-winning Hall of Fame speakers, and we have speakers who they're there for the first time ever, surrounded by all these big names and celebrities, and they're learning just as much. It's really a wonderful community. The National Speakers Association has a saying that it's not to get our slice of the pie, but it's to make the pie bigger. And that's really at the heart of who we are as professionals, because it is a difficult industry. Toastmasters, if you're working on your platform skills, trying out new material, and want to make some friends in your community, I still go to 2 meetings a month. I'm thinking of joining a second club. I practice, I make friends. Dr. Sunny, I work from home, so going to a Toastmasters meeting is a great way to make sure my pants still zip, okay? I gotta get up, I gotta get out, I gotta practice. And I'm not gonna lie, I have met people who have ultimately hired me, but that's not why I joined. That's just the icing on top of that cake.
And I can definitely relate to getting out and making sure your pants still zip. Boy,
Right.
I relate to that. Thank you so much for all the nuggets that you've dropped today. And best wishes with your success as a speaker, coach, and consultant.
I thank you for inviting me to be here today to meet all your listeners. I welcome them all to connect with me, be it LinkedIn or Twitter or Instagram. I'm Sima Says. Sima Says, and my website, of course, is simadahl.com. Thank you again, and have a blessed day.
You too. Have a blessed day, Sima. That's all the time we have on this edition of Rise and Shine with Dr. Sunny. Again, thank you to my guest, Sima Dahl, for telling us how to raise our sway factor so we can stand out, stay relevant, and be in demand. I continue to be blessed by your texts, emails, and comments on social media to let me know you've been inspired by the amazing stories of my guests and the tips that we give. Shout out to coach, speaker, and author Tanya Ware, who said, Rise and Shine with Dr. Sunny Fridge is just the type of programming we need to all be inspired to achieve greatness. Thank you, Pastor Tanya. I'd love to give you a shout out, so drop a message in the Facebook, YouTube, or podcast comments and let me know what you enjoy about the shows. If you enjoy our programs, if you haven't already done so, please consider making a donation of any amount at wytv7.org to help our CBN broadcasters continue the mission to bring you programming that educates, empowers, and encourages. After every premiere of Rise and Shine on WYTV7 Facebook and YouTube, you can listen anytime to each episode of Rise and Shine by podcast on Spreaker, iHeart, Google, Spotify, and more. If you're not on social media, you can find all my shows and podcasts online in one location at wytv7.org/rise-shine. And please like my Facebook page at facebook.com/iRiseAndShine. You'll find tips there to help you unleash your inner speaking superpowers, some you may not even know you have. I look forward to helping you shine. Rise above your speaking anxiety, rise above your fear, and rise to the challenge and opportunity to shine as a better communicator. I'm Dr. Sunny. Remember, it's your time to rise and shine.